all stakeholders, the academia, university community, societal groups, government, and industry to discuss a topical issue of societal importance, finding a sustainable single plastic item use pattern for society and industrial sustainability. This is in line with the town and gown policy of the university. Experts in water pollution, abatement, and mitigation have cautioned that the extensive use of plastics, especially single-use plastic items, pure water nylons, plastic bottles in our everyday life, and to the students who are here present, you are the future of this country. Even if you japa, you know the japa syndrome. Okay. Even if you japa, you remain in Nigeria. Please run with the gospel of what you learn at this workshop. The Bible says in Hosea 4:6, my people perish, all my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. The problems associated with plastic pollution are numerous and deadly. Please, students, take this gospel to your campuses, form clubs that will sensitize others.
Today we're having a sensitization workshop on the harmful effect of plastic pollution on drinking water and human health. This is one of the Tetfund National Research Fund Intervention Grant research projects won by Professor Adeogun in 2020 when I was the head of the Department of Zoology. The broad title of the project, if it has not been modified at all, is Microplastics in the Aquatic Environment, Characterization of Food Safety, Biota, and Human Health Implications of their occurrence. In Nigeria today, waste disposal has continued to pose a serious challenge as an environmental problem. It has led to several governmental programs aimed at environmental sanitation. Population explosion, uncontrolled urbanization, and rapid industrializations are responsible for the high waste generation in the country. The rapid growth rates in size and population of towns and cities have also brought about great changes in the volume and diversity of waste generation.
It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the Mclean workshop holding in the Department of Zoology. So I first welcome you to the Department of Zoology, to our great ZLT. And this workshop focuses on microplastics in our coastal and freshwater and the implications for human health. The proper management of plastic waste is a global challenge, considering that these wastes ultimately find their way into the aquatic environment, broken down gradually over time, and are taken up by organisms such as fish, which constitute an important source of protein to the teeming population, with the possibility of eliciting adverse health effects in exposed individuals. Against this backdrop, the objective of this workshop is bringing together all stakeholders across academia, societal groups, governments, and industries to discuss this all-important topic on the dangers of microplastics in the aquatic environment and to find ways of sustainable management of our plastic waste. Is certainly a noble objective, especially when one considers the increased incidence of metabolic diseases and cancer within our society. The workshop also aims to disseminate findings from a Tetfund National Research Fund grant awarded in 2019 and is one of the 9 research grants awarded that year to the University of Ibadan. The project
Both discussed together, the environment is more important than anything. Because if you don't have the type of environment that is necessary to be productive. No matter how much effort you put into your production or productivity, it doesn't work out. If the people are not in a healthy environment, whatever money they have, whatever skills they have, whatever knowledge they have, it's not going to bring forth maximum result. And that's why we're happy that this is happening today. I'm also happy that all of us are willing to stand together against plastic pollution, which we have identified as a major problem, major health problem, major governance problem, major environmental problem in our own states today. And we're doing everything we can to ensure we fight this till we don't see it anymore. And that's one of the reasons why it gave me so much joy. I encountered Professor Adeogun very recently, and when I saw a passion, the research that came out of it, I said, no, we must be part of this. That sounds, it's waste. Why should anybody pay me for my waste? It's waste. It has no life anymore. But then because they realize that it's got value, they are going to advise you, well, if you don't care, you can throw it into your central waste and dump it off, but you will be the one losing. But if you follow what they told you to do, each time you take a bottle of soft drink, you take sachet water, these things have better value. I have here today somebody that can challenge you. I'm always proud. There are so many people like that. But someone that can challenge your mind. Somebody is here today. Her name is Jokel Asisi. She didn't know. Oh, there she is. She didn't know I was going to talk about her. But you want to ask what she does. She takes pure water, used pure water sachet, and makes fabric from them. Fabric, clothing. And so you could see some of them. And it's not just fabric alone, bags. In fact, she also makes furniture, right? You make furniture.
Yes, sir.
Home furniture, office furniture, from all these things that you would take a sachet of water and then you throw somewhere on the road, you throw inside the waterways. And should I shock you about this? She's a multi-award winning personality because of all this. I thought you would appreciate it. She has national awards from the federal government.
The first study we carried out to ascertain what is happening in our environment, because it's important. We cannot just be using results from out other places and just adopting it. We have gotten to that stage in our national development that we need to give homegrown solutions to our problems. And that's why our research group decided to carry out studies in our own environment so that the results we get can guide us in how to make our environment better. Remember, the thinking before is that Africa is not polluted. Our studies have shown that Africa is actually as polluted as China and Taiwan with what we have seen. So we carried out preliminary results on Ele Lake. We picked fishes from Ele, the ones I mentioned earlier on. And this plastic I'm talking about, when they break down to smaller pieces, fish will feed on them, thinking that they are food. Not only is it not good for the fish because they are not going to get any food from there, it also contains chemicals that will cause harm to the body of the fish. And we feed on fish. And these chemicals may cause harm to us. That's why we are bringing that awareness that prevention is better than cure. If we can take all these plastics, dispose of them the right way, break them down, let them use it again, we will reduce the amount of chemicals that will go into our waters. So agba ẹja lódò ẹlẹ́ẹ̀lẹ́, awo àwọn ẹja yẹn. Nínú àwọn ẹja tá a wò lẹ́lẹ́ẹ̀lẹ́, tá a bá nínú 10, mẹ́fà nínú ẹ̀ ló ní plastic nínú tí àwọn ẹja yẹn jẹ tí wọ́n rò pé bóyá oúnjẹ ni kò ṣàǹfààní fára ẹja torí pé kò kì í ṣe oúnjẹ ṣùgbọ́n ó tún wá ní àwọn èròjà olóró nínú tó lè ṣe ẹja tí ò ní ṣẹja láǹfààní tí ò dẹ̀ ní ṣàwa náà láǹfààní àdẹ̀mọ̀ pé ẹja la ní ká máa jẹ ní ìsìn torí ẹ̀ ká má pé wọ́n ní Yorùbá ní pé ìpéjọ tá a péjọ ṣe ìsìnkú bá a bá pé wa láìsàn bẹ́ẹ̀ bóyá ìbá má kú ìyẹn ló jẹ́ káwa ẹlẹ́mọ̀ onímọ̀ sáyẹ́nsì ní University of Ibadan ká má péjọ wa láìsàn ká má tiẹ̀ jẹ́ káìsàn ṣẹ̀tẹ̀ ní. If we can prevent us having diseases by just cleaning up our environment, it will go a long way in making us a healthier people. So we looked at these fishes and we found plastics in them. You will see that majority, over 50%, we have about 4 major rivers, serving Ele and streams, taking all these there. So that's why we had more microplastics in Ele fish than Ashejire fish. We also looked at the fishes. How do they feed? Catfish is an omnivore. It feeds on both plants and animal material. And so we found that in Ashejire, for example, the herbivores, the tilapias that feed on plant material, had more microplastics than all the other fishes. While in Ele, we found that the detritivores, that is those that feed on sediment, that feed on mud, had more microplastics than others.
For those of you who are wondering about what microplastic is, microplastics are plastic particles or their polymers that are smaller than 5 micrometer in size. Sorry, 5 millimeter in size on each dimension. So that's what is called microplastics. As you can imagine, all those things we went out there and picked, they will not fall into this category. They are the ones I'm much concerned about, the macroplastics, which are the ones you see, the ones you went out to pick now. They are the ones that I think is the worst problem in the environment. Generally, when you think about plastic pollution and human health concern, including microplastics, generally these are influenced by both the hazard that they pose and the exposure scenarios that people experience in the environment or in their homes. And it is also known that microplastics are associated with hazard that can be explained by the particles. And also the physical properties of microplastic that include size, surface area, shape, surface characterization, and composition of chemicals influence the eventual environmental contamination or health consequences, both for animals that live in the environment and for us that consume things that are packed in plastic on a daily basis. And then some evidence, scientific evidence, have shown that there are a lot of microbial pathogens that are associated with microplastics that enter into drinking water, and they can pose significant health risk for human beings or for animals in the environment. If you plug your telephone in the electric, it will catch fire. All these things, they are part of plastic, and we find them every day in our daily lives. So my point is, we can never run away from these things. But we can manage it. Society can manage it. All of you here, I went there to pick plastic with you. It's your world. You can do something about it. Forget us. Maybe we have failed you already. Everybody else has failed you. But you don't fail yourself. I'm going to talk a little bit about that later.
The way out is through citizen science. We have to do it together. We have to come together as citizens to say we can bring the plastics from our homes, because where do they generate from? We buy from the market, we take it home. We use it, we dump it outside. We give our children plastic to take to school. They use it, they dump it on the ground. So it is our own consciousness and agreeing that, oh, this needs to be taken care of, that will bring an end to plastic pollution. So citizen science coming together to understand the dangers that chemical agents in plastic can do to us, and realizing that preventing further pollution through plastics is the way to ensure a healthier home, a healthier environment, and a healthier nation. That's the way we can go to reduce plastic pollution.
Produce different things. Those are the kind of people that we need, such innovative ideas to manage plastic. But no matter what they do, they will never be able to contain plastic. You know, as has been said, we need people to change attitude, you know, their attitude towards plastic, and then use alternative sources of renewable containers and renewable materials, so that at least you reduce plastic usage. If each and every one of us here reduce our plastic usage by 10%, only 10%, it will go a very long way. And then we have people with innovative ideas and governments with regulatory ideas to regulate how we use and apply plastic in everyday life. That will go a long way to reduce plastic pollution. It can cause cancer, it can cause immune effect, reproductive effect, and other kinds of effects that are not very comfortable or very deadly for a lot of people. And that's what the problem is. Of course, if you forget about the nuisance, which is the worst consequence of seeing plastic everywhere, they can cause nuisance. There's environmental nuisance, but then the health effect is also very, very severe. And of course, you see, sometimes we use plastic containers, put it in the microwave, and when you heat plastic materials in the microwave, those chemicals, some of them come out, and then we eat it. And at the long run, we are chronically exposed to dangerous chemicals that are not good for our health.
The message to the participants is that this workshop is an eye-opener for everybody. We see that there's so many diseases around: cancer, diabetes, reproductive problems. But today, with the research finding by this group led by Professor Adeogun, we are going to see that plastics, the nylon, the sachet water, the plastic bottles that we throw around can cause a lot of damage to the environment. And the representative of His Excellency, the Special Advisor on Environmental Matters, has also told us what the Oyo State government plans to do concerning making waste into wealth. And that very soon you will be giving Oyo State your waste, and Oyo State will be giving you money. So from this workshop, we are going to see that people can turn waste into wealth, and that the waste that we are putting into the environment can do a lot of damage to us, to our children, to the future that we have. So by what they are going to tell us now, we'll find out how we can properly dispose of our waste so that we can have a very healthy environment. So from this workshop now, we are going to have research findings from the GAUN, which is a university, and we are also going to hear what the town, that is the government, the people, they've done.
Yes, we know that there's a major problem. Our waters are being contaminated. Not even just our waters, even our daily lives are being contaminated by all these wastes from plastics, PET bottles, cellophane bags, pure water sachet that is littering everywhere. We know there's a problem, and we are doing everything to fight it. And that's why the place we are going now, the way we are going now, we would even get to a point where nobody will have to tell anyone that when you take a sachet of water, you keep that bag, that sachet, empty sachet somewhere. When you take a bottle of soft drink or water from PET bottle, you know that you have to keep it somewhere because it has value. That is the only way we can stop indiscriminate dumping, because these things have a second life. In fact, their second life is a better life. I mean, PET bottles, sachet, water sachet, and all those things. So government to keep encouraging people, keep separating your waste. And we've started piloting this project. We started in a few places just to start it up and see how it will run before we go into it full blown. But what we're doing right now, what we're saying right now is everybody, make sure that you separate your waste. Put your plastics aside, put your paper aside, and your organic waste, the one that you know that one will will disintegrate with the ground. That one, you can also keep it aside. That's the one you even give out. In fact, if you understand it, that's even manure that you can use instead of generating all the waste together and causing problems, health hazards, even societal hazards, and even water hazards that affect our waters.